Hi friends, in today's video I'll discuss something very interesting. Do you know whether your partner is narcissistic or not? I mean, are you stuck with such a partner who has narcissistic traits in themselves? Or even are you a narcissistic person? How will you know that? Alright, so we'll discuss that. First of all, what is narcissism? Narcissistic person is somebody, okay, who is kind of self-obsessed they're highly obsessed with their own beauty, with their looks, all right? They are concerned about their own pleasure, all right? Now, they also value admiration and superiority a lot. They want people to eulogize them, praise them. They want people to give them special treatment, all right? And they could be very egoistic, all right, also. And now these people, this is actually also in psychology, it's a medical condition. It's called narcissistic personality disorder, okay? So in terms of psychology, it is a disorder wherein a person is, obsessed with their own selves. They always want to be in control of everything, in control of others, okay? They want to be praised by others. They want admiration, and they always, feel that they are superior to others. And they want to make others believe that also, okay? And so they are kind of obsessed with their own selves. All right. Now this level of obsession may vary. The degree definitely can vary in people depending on, their circumstances in life, and also on definitely a lot will depend on the planetary combinations in their birth chart. All right. Now, friends, what are the combinations which can make a person narcissistic? So if you really want to know whether your partner is narcissistic, or if you have such traits, so then look at these combinations. The first thing that you will look at is, I will come to Rahu through all 12 signs, okay, very soon. But before that, let me tell you a little about the combinations which you are looking for now, which you need to look for. Like if you have Sun and Venus, the planets Sun and Venus in combination with Rahu, either conjunct with Rahu, or Rahu is aspecting them, or they are aspecting Rahu, whatever. So some connection is there between Sun, Venus and Rahu, all right? And somehow this combination should also have some connection with Moon in your birth chart. Moon, because Moon is ultimately your mind, okay? Moon is your mind. Moon is the planet which is responsible for how you think, for your mindset, attitude, for your mental faculties, even tendencies. So they should have some connection with your Moon as well, okay? All right. Then also we can say that next, what you have to look at another combination. Now, Mars, Venus, if they are combined with Rahu, the planets Mars and Venus, somehow they have some connection with Rahu, either conjunction or aspect. Okay, Rahu should be there with Mars or Venus, and somehow this entire combination should somehow be linked to the planet Moon in your birth chart. This is the second condition. If it is fulfilled, then definitely the personality could be narcissistic to some extent. Next combination is, Jupiter, Mars, or Jupiter, Venus. Mars also could be involved, but the basic combination, Jupiter and Venus, if they have some connection with Rahu, okay, either conjunction or aspect. Okay, Jupiter and Venus, some strong connection of aspect or conjunction with Rahu, and this entire combination, at least somehow if it is linked to the Moon, then also this is another combination for being a narcissist. Now, there are disclaimers, there are exceptions. I will come to them. All right. So we should not jump to conclusions whenever we see such combinations in a birth chart that, okay, now this person is going to be narcissist. Not like that. There are certain disclaimers which I'll give you and certain exceptions. Now, all of these combinations, I think I have talked about 3 combinations. Okay, you can pause and go back and once again you can confirm. I've talked about 3 separate combinations. Now, if any of these combinations is also linked to the ascendant or ascendant lord, then definitely the narcissistic traits will be very much visible. Will be like, they will characterize your personality and they will become very overt and they will be visible to others. If it is linked to the ascendant or ascendant lord, then you will exhibit narcissistic traits and people will also identify you as someone who is narcissistic. This could happen. Somebody who is self-obsessed, because this is now linked to your ascendant or ascendant lord. All right, then definitely you could be identified as a narcissistic personality by the world outside as well. Now, if any of these combinations is not linked to the ascendant or ascendant lord, then these tendencies could be there in you, very much present. They could even lie, either they could lie dormant within you. This is one possibility. Or you will have such a mindset actually, but you will be very clever and you'll be so manipulative that others will not come to know. Only someone who's in close relationship with you, only that person may come to know. But otherwise, others in the family, in the society, in the world outside will not be able to identify you as a narcissist if it is not linked to the ascendant or ascendant lord. Okay, but you will still be a narcissist and you will be very clever. You will know how to suppress those narcissistic tendencies and you'll be very clever. You will not get caught by the people, by the public, but you will know that you are such a person, and your partner, your romantic partner, life partner or spouse will definitely come to know. Now, again, I give you certain exceptions. Suppose you have any of these combinations and you are moving towards research. By research, I mean serious research work you are engaged in. You're doing a lot of research. You are into some secret investigation. You are on a secret mission. You are exploring or trying to, uncover the truth which is hidden because you are, engaged in research investigation. You are after some kind of occult or spiritual knowledge. You want to acquire some spiritual, mystical knowledge, or you are actually engaged in occult practices. Suppose you are engaged in occult or spiritual practices. Okay, or maybe some tantric practices if you're engaged in, then Rahu's energy is being absorbed along a different direction. Okay, then you will use all of that. But if you're engaged in tantric practices for helping others out, then it is good. But if you're engaged in practices of black magic and tantra because you want to harm others for your own benefit, then again that also points towards somebody who is narcissistic, because you are practicing black magic because you want to satisfy your own ego. You want to show how dominant, how powerful you are. Okay, so that is again negative. If you're doing black magic, you can still be a narcissist. But if you're into astrology, if you're into occult fields because you want to help others out, then definitely it will be a different story. Then definitely you may not be a narcissist. Now friends, if you are in some foreign land, this is another exception. After birth you move to a foreign land, because Rahu is foreign land. So then also definitely these tendencies may not be there too much in you. You may have certain mild tendencies. I will discuss all of that very soon. So you may think that, yeah, I have certain tendencies, but these tendencies will not overpower you or your personality. Okay? All right. Now, Rahu, in which sign Rahu is placed, that also you have to see, because Rahu ultimately, when it is in this combination of planets which I mentioned a little while ago, so Rahu is a planet which can dictate the whole, placement, the whole combination of planets. So Rahu can dictate. Rahu could be the dictator, okay, because Rahu in this Kali Yuga is considered to be a very powerful planet, okay, which easily kind of influences the native, okay. So because Rahu is temptation, attraction, yes, so Rahu is very powerful. So that is why we need to look at the zodiac sign in which Rahu is placed in this combination. I talked about 3 combinations. So look at the zodiac sign in which Rahu is placed. So then you will get a lot of idea. Now friends, I will discuss what results you will get when Rahu is in a certain zodiac sign, and if it is connected to these planets, okay, which I mentioned a little while ago. Now there could be other exceptions also, like if you are in the field of I mentioned a little while ago, you could be in the field of law, you could be in the field of medical science, you could be doing research, investigation, chartered accountancy. These are all exceptions. Then you will not experience these results which I will discuss, okay. You will not experience them so much, okay. Certain mild in a mild way, certain desires may be there, definitely, but you will not harm others because you want to satisfy your desires. You will not do that. You will not treat others as an object of pleasure. That you won't do. If you're into research, investigation, if you're in a foreign land and so on. Okay, so these are disclaimers. Now, also friends, I would say that if Rahu is in a certain nakshatra, look at the nakshatra. Certain nakshatras are very auspicious, like Pushya nakshatra, okay, ruled by Saturn, and the Lord is Hriishitaa. So if Rahu is in Pushya nakshatra, Rahu is, and provided Saturn is the Lord of the nakshatra is Saturn, if Saturn is more or less well placed in the chart, then certain nakshatras like Punarvasu nakshatra, ruled by Jupiter, Shravana nakshatra, ruled by Moon, okay, even Revati nakshatra, ruled by Mercury, provided if Mercury is well placed in the chart. So when these nakshatras are generally auspicious, these are some of the nakshatras which are very auspicious. If Rahu is placed in such nakshatras, and if the lords of the respective nakshatra the Lord is also well placed, then even if you have such combinations, you may have certain desires which I'll discuss, but you will not be obsessed with your desires, okay. You're not going to be obsessed. Yeah, you may feel. Now whatever I will be discussing about Rahu in each zodiac sign from Aries to Pisces, no, you will experience those results, but the degree will vary. So when you are I have given you all those exceptions just now. If Rahu is placed in an auspicious nakshatra and so on, or in whichever nakshatra, if the nakshatra lord is well placed, or the nakshatra lord in which Rahu is in a certain nakshatra, and that nakshatra lord is aspected by a benefic Jupiter, then also you will not experience these results to a great extent, all right. But to some extent you will experience the results which I am going to discuss now, and that is going to be, these results are going to be based on Rahu's placement, Rahu in a certain zodiac sign. So please don't miss out the introduction. If you don't miss out if you miss out the introduction, you won't understand. All right, so it is very important introduction, you have to listen to it. All right, now I begin with Rahu in Aries. All right, so don't miss out the introduction. Okay, Rahu in Aries zodiac sign. All right, so what will happen when you have any of these three combinations which I mentioned in the introduction of the video? Rahu is in combination with those planets. All right, and Rahu is in Aries, then what will happen? Then the person may be obsessed about their own body, their own looks. All right, this can happen. All right, they will also be highly passionate when it comes to their sex life. They could be very highly passionate. They could be impulsive also. All right, they could they could even act impulsively. Now if Rahu is in Aries, then what else we can say? When Rahu is in Aries, such people, they will it will be their inherent nature. They can be very egoistic. All right, they could be very egoistic, and whenever they are with their partner, they will want to indulge in that experience because they want to kind of satisfy their ego. They want to show to their partner that they are very dominating, that they are in control of the situation. Okay, so they always want to be the giver. They want to be someone who's in control of the situation. They want to dominate. So this tendency you will see when Rahu is in Aries. All right, so yeah, and it will be their inherent nature. Okay, so by nature also they could be someone who's very manipulative. They will manipulate things in such a way, even when it comes to love making. So they will make their partner feel how powerful they are, how brave they are, how bold they can be. All right, and they want to exert their power over their partner. This is possible. All right, so they could be very, very egocentric. Okay, they want their partner to praise them. They want to feel superior to their partner. This can happen. All right, so now let's move on to they would indulge in such intimate relationship with their partner just to even satisfy their ego. It's possible. Now let's move on to what will happen when Rahu is in Taurus. Before moving on to Rahu in Taurus, Rahu in Aries, satisfying their ego by indulging in such intimate relationship with their partner, that could be again something very important. This trait could be very much visible in their personality if Rahu is in Aries. Okay, their whole life, their personality is going to be characterized by this tendency to dominate their partner. This can happen. All right, so definitely they can be somebody with a narcissistic personality if they have any of these combinations. If Rahu is in combination with I mentioned in the introduction of the video, if it's in combination with Jupiter and Venus, and Moon is also connected, or if Rahu is in combination with Sun or Venus and Moon is connected, or if Rahu is in combination with Mars and Venus and Moon has some connection. All right, or even if the ascendant lord, then things will become even more obvious. for the person. Now let's move on to Rahu in Taurus. So when Rahu will be in Taurus, okay, then the person definitely will be someone who's very, they will be obsessed with their own methodical approach to the whole thing, to the whole love making thing. Okay, they could be very methodical. They could be very, when Rahu is in Taurus, then they will really know how to, get pleasure. So ultimately their aim will be to get pleasure out of that whole experience, and they will be focusing, if Rahu is in Taurus in this combination, and Rahu is in combination with either Sun, Venus, Mars, Rahu is in combination with either Sun or Venus. If Rahu is in combination with either Mars and Venus, or Jupiter and Venus, and if Moon is aspecting, I told you, any of these combinations, then also the person can be narcissistic. All right, they could be they could have secret obsession with somebody in the family. That is also possible. Okay, and they could also be their facial expressions also may betray the fact that they are a narcissist. All right, that they are concerned about their own gratification. They're not bothered about the partner. All right, then they can be very they will think about their own pleasure always when Rahu is in Taurus. Okay, and they could be very scheming and plotting also, very methodical in their approach. Okay, so because again this is an earth sign, Taurus is an earth sign, so they will be very methodical. So they will look at the whole thing very practically, but ultimately they will do everything for their own gratification. All right, so and they will also put in a lot of efforts, because Taurus is part of the earth trine, the trine of materialistic pursuit. So in order to fulfill their desire, they will put in efforts, they will make a lot of efforts, okay, to make sure that they get pleasure, they derive pleasure out of that whole experience with their partner. Now let's move on to what will happen when Rahu is in Gemini. Now in the introduction I mentioned that if Rahu is somehow connected to Sun and Venus, or Jupiter and Venus, or if Rahu is connected to Mars and Venus, or if any of these combinations, and each of these combinations, they must have some connection with the moon or ascendant lord, then we can say that you have Rahu in Gemini. Then what kind of a narcissist you will be? So you will be somebody who is now, you will again be someone who's very intelligent. All right, you will make intelligent moves to get your desire fulfilled. Okay, when it comes to love making, you could take recourse to laughter, role playing. You may be interested in role playing while making love to your partner. Then also when Rahu is in Gemini, you would actually like to make it a fun thing also. All right, so you would actually make your partner feel that it's just for fun, but in the garb of having fun, you are actually trying to manipulate your partner, and you are actually trying to make your partner do everything just to satisfy your lust. Okay, so that's what a narcissist can do when Rahu is in Gemini. Okay, and they will be very intelligent, they'll be very manipulative and very calculating when Rahu is in Gemini. The person may not come to know, and they will have duality of nature also. Okay, so they'll have duality of character. So at times they will, pretend to be so very, submissive. At times they will again pretend to take charge. So the partner may be confused. Okay, so because somebody who has Rahu in Gemini with any of these combinations, they can be very, very manipulative, and they can have duality of character. So they could manipulate their partner into believing that they are so innocent and childlike and they're doing everything just for fun, while the reality could be something else. Alright, they're actually trying to manipulate things for their own self gratification. They are not bothered about their partner's desires, their partner's satisfaction. They're not bothered, because a person who's really narcissist is concerned basically about their own desire fulfillment. They don't have feelings for their partner actually, when they are a typical narcissist. Now you could be secretively attracted to some younger sibling. It could be a relation of incest even. You could even have, when Rahu is in Gemini, you could be, you could have secretive relationship, or you could be obsessed with some cousin or someone in your neighborhood. That is also possible. Alright? Yeah. Someone in your friend circle, also possible. Now let's move on to Rahu in Cancer. When Rahu will be in Cancer, and as I mentioned in the introduction of the video, that Rahu should be in, somehow connected to either Sun and Venus, or Jupiter and Venus, or Mars and Venus, and any of these combinations you may have, but Moon should have an aspect. Somehow any of these combinations should be connected to Moon or Ascendant Lord. Now if you have Rahu in Cancer sign, what will happen? So such a narcissist, actually, such a person, they could be over emotional. They could be obsessed with their own emotions. All right. They will come across as somebody who's overly emotional, very emotional. All right. So the partner may think that that they are really, they have true emotions and all. All right. They really have concern, while the reality could be something else. Okay. So they are kind of exhibiting their emotions, or they are kind of pretending to be very emotional. Okay, it could just be a pretense. Why they are pretending to be that? Because they want some benefit from their partner. They actually want to use their partner to, as an object of their own pleasure. It's possible. When Rahu is in Cancer, these people, Cancer is moon sign, okay, and water sign. So they can be very creative also when it comes to love making. All right. They would also expect their partner to be very creative. Otherwise, they could get bored. It's possible. When Rahu is in Cancer, such people, they also believe in going to the, they want their relationship to be very intense. They want that relationship that the person should be able to have a deep-rooted connection with you. Otherwise, Rahu in Cancer, a person who has Rahu in Cancer and they have any of these combinations, and if they have narcissistic tendencies, they will not be able to connect with the partner at all. If the partner is not able to establish deep-rooted connection with them. They may be away from their homeland, but they may be greatly attached to somebody in their homeland. Okay, somebody in their homeland. So they had a fascination for them. So they really wanted to kind of, make love to them, but now they're away from that person in their homeland. They themselves are staying in a foreign land. So, they will always kind of, miss that person in the homeland. That is also possible. From whom they got detached. That is also possible when Rahu is in Cancer. Cancer is a water sign connected to travel, movement. So you are somehow away from your love or somebody to whom you are very much attracted and who's in a homeland, who is still in your homeland, and you are away from your homeland. Then also it can happen when Rahu is in Cancer. Cancer is the sign of moon actually. So what they are seeking actually, when they are into love making, they only are actually concerned about their pleasure and their comfort. That's how a narcissistic person with this combination will think. If they are not getting pleasure, if they're not feeling comfortable with the person, they will never ever want to make love to the person. They will never ever want that person to make love to them. And they will get detached from that person if their person is not able to provide them with the kind of comfort and pleasure that they are looking for. So if their standards are not met, somehow they will get estranged from their partner. They may turn aloof, and they may remain aloof from their partner. They may kind of distance themselves also from their partner if their if their desires are not fulfilled. That's what they can do. All right, so that's all I want to say about Rahu in Cancer. Yes, they want their partner to be very creative and all, otherwise, and to satisfy them. Otherwise, they will never be able to connect with that person. Now, if what will happen when you have Rahu in Leo? When you have Rahu in Leo, and again, go to the introduction. If Rahu is in connection with either Sun and Venus, or with Jupiter and Venus, or with Mars and Venus, and if any of these combinations you may have, but they must have this. The combination must have some connection with your moon. Okay, very important, or ascendant. Then, if you have Rahu in Leo, what we can say, then such a narcissistic person, he may or he or she, that person may have an inflated ego. Okay, they may be very manipulative. They may just manipulate things in such a way just to show to their partner that they are very dominant. Okay, they always want to dominate over their partner. Okay, so they are going to be the dictator in the relationship, and their partner, they just have to obey their dictates. So they want to show their power, their control over their partner when Rahu is placed in Leo, and if the person is a narcissist. All right, so definitely there are certain exceptions to that, which I have mentioned in the introduction, so don't miss the introduction. So yeah, it's all about a game of control and satisfaction of your own ego. Yes, so when they try to make their partner feel that they should be grateful to them, means they will make their partner feel inferior, and they want to establish their superiority over their partner. That satisfies their ego. So when they're able to totally dominate their partner and totally control their partner, so that will satisfy their ego in the relationship. All right, so they will be the controller and the dictator in the relationship when you have Rahu in Leo. Okay, so yeah, and Rahu in Leo, what else? I mean, that will be their inherent nature actually, because Leo is part of the dharma trine, the trine of your inherent nature. So by nature they will be like that, manipulative. By nature they will manipulate their partner into believing that they need to recognize their inferiority. Means their partner should know that they are actually inferior, and the partner should feel blessed and grateful. So they want their partner to feel that way, okay? And they want to establish their dominance, their control and superiority over their partner. All right? So in Rahu in Leo, it's all about you can say it's almost like a power game. Yes, it is a power game, and they want that they should have the ultimate control over the situation when they're into love making with their partner. All right? Then also Rahu in Leo, what else we can say? They could also be playful. Okay, Leo sign. They could also be playful, but ultimately whatever they do, they will do it to satisfy their own ego. All right? Now let's move on to Rahu in Virgo. When Rahu will be in Virgo, then such a narcissistic person may be somehow connected to somebody at their workplace. If they're doing a job, some secret connection with somebody, it is possible. All right? When Rahu is in Virgo. When Rahu is in Virgo, a narcissistic person will be very methodical in their approach to lovemaking. They will believe in repetitive experiences, so they will want to repeat their experience also quite often. That is possible because Virgo sign is connected to repetition. All right? Rahu also is a planet which is connected to repetitive experiences, so that desire to repeat that experience of lovemaking. Even if the partner is not in a mood, they would kind of impose that on the partner, their desires. They would impose their desires on their partner, and they would compel their partner to kind of do that repetitively so that they can satisfy themselves. So Rahu in Virgo, look at the introduction. If Rahu is in connection with Sun and Venus, or with Mars and Venus, or with Jupiter and Venus, and you can have any of these combinations, and somehow the combination should be linked to Moon, most importantly to Moon or Ascendant Lord or Ascendant. So that I've mentioned in the introduction. So when Rahu is in Virgo also, you will see that the person will be very earth sign. Virgo is earth sign, so they will be very calculating, very methodical, in their whole approach to love making. All right? So yeah, and they will actually they want to kind of maintain that. They'll be obsessed to kind of indulge in that activity in a routine way. Okay, so they will somehow have a great desire. They will be obsessed with the routine aspect of love making. So all right, so yeah, so a narcissistic person is somebody who is also, at times you will feel if they are highly narcissistic, then they are devoid of even emotions. Even they don't have real human emotions even. So say God forbid, say some tragedy has happened, something has happened in the family, or say somebody is unwell or anything. Okay, but a narcissistic person who has Rahu in Virgo with any of these combinations which I mentioned, they will not be bothered about what has happened. Some tragedy has happened, some unfortunate incident has taken place. They are not bothered, because they don't want anything to disturb that routine. So if they really want that from their partner, if they really want to indulge in love making, they will indulge. Nothing will kind of change their mind, and they are so obsessed with their routine, with their habit of love making. So they are not much affected by what is happening even around them. Okay, so that is also possible when you have Rahu in Virgo. And they are so very scheming, plotting, they are so manipulative, because after all it's Virgo sign where Mercury exalts. So they'll be very manipulative. And they will kind of manipulate everything, they will calculate everything in such a way so that their desires are fulfilled. Okay, no matter how their partner is feeling, or they're not much bothered about that. They're only concerned about their own desires and fulfillment, satisfaction of their own desires. Let's move on to Rahu in Libra. When you have Rahu in Libra, and go to the introduction, if Rahu has connection with either Sun and Venus, or Mars and Venus, or Jupiter and Venus, and any of these combinations you can have, but it should have some connection with your moon, mainly moon, or ascendant lord, then definitely such a person can be narcissistic. All right, with Rahu in Libra now. So you may have secret relationship with somebody. You may fall in love, and you may have secret relationship, intimate relationship with someone outside marriage. That is also possible. You may have relationship with some foreigner, with somebody who belongs to a foreign culture. That is possible. All right. So you may get drawn to people from foreign cultures and foreign origins, and you may want to make love to them. That is also possible. When Rahu is in Libra, then you may also maybe get attracted to somebody who's associated with your business, or someone who's your business partner. That is also possible. Or someone who's connected to your business, you may get drawn to them. All right, secretively. That's possible. When Rahu is in Libra, Libra is a sign ruled by Venus. So now you'll be obsessed with love, and actually love making. That is possible. All right, because it is the sign of Venus, okay, which is the planet of love making also, and intimate relationship as well. So you could be obsessed with all of that now, and that is why you could even have multiple relationships if you have great narcissistic tendencies, and somebody who is a typical narcissist with this combination, they can be into multiple relationships just because they want to fulfill their desire. Their desire is so endless now. Libra is connected even to your sexual desire, so your desire, Rahu magnifies that. So they could be into multiple relationships with different partners just to satisfy their desires, and they will believe a lot in give and take. Okay, give and take. They will believe that love making is nothing but give and take. All right, and they will be so clever, and they could be so manipulative if they are a narcissist, that they would manipulate things in such a way in the relationship that they would give a little, but they would want to take a lot more from the partner. Okay, so they would manipulate things in such a way. That's possible. All right. Okay, now let's move on to, so, and they will be very manipulative and intelligent, because after all, Libra is an air sign and part of the Kama Trikona. So they have great desires. So they indulge in love making because they are just unstoppable. They are not happy with one partner. This can happen if they're a real narcissist with this position, Rahu in Libra. So they can make love to many people, and they can have many partners, and yet they may be unsatisfied. They may not be satisfied. It's possible. All right. Now let's move on to Rahu in Scorpio. When Rahu is in Scorpio, then such people, they can again have secretive relationships with somebody even outside marriage. That's possible when Rahu is in Scorpio. And when Rahu is in Scorpio, please go to the introduction. If Rahu is in Scorpio, Rahu has some connection with either Sun and Venus, or Mars and Venus, or Jupiter and Venus. Okay, and any of these combinations you may have, but there should be some connection with the moon in your birth chart, or ascendant lord or ascendant. Then you can be a narcissist. But go to the introduction, there are exceptions also which I have mentioned. Or your person may be a narcissist if they have this combination, such combinations. So such a person, they can, Scorpio sign is the sign of sex again, so they could be obsessed with sex. That is why they can move outside their marriage. They can look for love outside marriage. They can develop illicit relationships outside their marriage or committed relationship. It's possible when Rahu is in Scorpio. When Rahu is in Scorpio, then a narcissist with such a position, they could be very experimental when it comes to love making. Okay, they would be very experimental. Then Rahu in Scorpio, they may also want to have when Rahu is in Scorpio, because Scorpio is also a sign which is connected to Pluto in Western astrology, so they may also want to have control over their partner. It's possible, right? They may want to have control. They may also want to dominate their partner, and they want to be very much experimental also. Okay, they want to be very experimental in love making. So this is also possible. They want the love making experience to transform them. Okay, that experience should have the power to transform them. Only then maybe they could be satisfied. Okay, so that is also possible. So if a narcissist has this position or placement of Rahu in Scorpio, then they could be highly obsessed with love making. They may really want to seek pleasure, and they want that experience of pleasure in love making to totally transform their life. That they want that sort of an experience. That experience should be able to transform them as a person. So that's what they're looking for. So unless they find such a person, they may go on looking for that a sort of relationship, and that is why they may not be satisfied with their own spouse or partner, and they may look for that sort of gratification outside marriage, and so they may develop illicit relationships. All right, so yeah, so all these things we can say when Rahu is in Scorpio. Right, yeah, they could be very experimental, very creative also in love making. Let's move on to Rahu in Sagittarius. Such people may get attracted to, when a narcissist has this position, when Rahu is in Sagittarius. Please go to the introduction. Rahu in Sagittarius, Rahu could be in connection either with Sun and Venus, or with Mars and Venus, or with Jupiter and Venus. And you could have any of these combinations, but it should also have some connection with your moon, very important, or ascendant lord. Then a narcissistic person with such a combination, with a Rahu in Sagittarius, they could get attracted to somebody in a foreign land. It's possible. Whenever they undertake travel, they feel attracted to someone. They have a desire, they get obsessed with somebody whenever they undertake foreign travel. It's possible. Okay, and they get totally obsessed with somebody in a foreign land. That is also possible when you have Rahu in Sagittarius. When Rahu in Sagittarius also, this is part of the Dharma trine. So their inherent nature will be such, if they're a typical narcissist, that they'll be very manipulative now. So manipulative, and that their partner will not come to know what they are actually intending to do. They'll be very manipulative by nature. So they will manipulate their partner into believing that they are superior, means they want to show to their partner that they are superior, they want to feel superior, okay, that they deserve a lot of admiration, they deserve a lot of praise, because they are way superior to their partner. So that's what they want their partner. They want to make their partner feel that their partner is inferior to them. That's what they want to make them feel. So even when you have Rahu in Sagittarius, that if such a person may have an inflated ego, and they may indulge in love making to satisfy that ego, okay, and they want to be in control of everything, okay, they want to be in control of the whole situation, they want to dominate their partner. That is also possible. All right, so Rahu in Sagittarius, yeah, so it is their inherent nature actually, because it's, they are by nature, they'll be very manipulative, very manipulative. All right, so I have given you certain disclaimers in the beginning of the video, okay. If you're into research, if Jupiter is aspecting, then all these things you will not experience, so please go to the introduction. All right, yeah, so if those exceptions are not there, then definitely one can also be a typical narcissist with this position. And when Rahu is in Sagittarius, they will have that desire to have total control over their partner and to establish their dominance over their partner. All right, and they would also have a great desire to travel with their partner, and whenever they undertake travel, they may get even more aroused, and their desires, they may get more obsessed with their desire for sexual pleasure. So that desire may get heightened whenever they undertake travel, even with their partner. So now let's move on to Rahu in Capricorn. So if you have Rahu in Capricorn, again in the introduction, please go to that. I have mentioned Rahu in Capricorn. If Rahu is in connection either with Sun and Venus, or Mars and Venus, or Jupiter and Venus, you may have any of these combinations, and Moon should have an aspect. It should be somehow connected to Moon especially, or Ascendant or Ascendant Lord. Then the person could be a narcissist with this position where Rahu is in Capricorn, getting attracted to somebody who's connected to your workplace, being obsessed with someone who's connected to your workplace. It is possible. All right, then also whenever you undertake Rahu in Capricorn, so yeah, Capricorn is actually your work. Capricorn is also when Rahu is in Capricorn, such a person will have a great desire again to have power and dominance, to control their partner, because Capricorn is again the sign of power and control. Okay, so yeah, so you will have that desire. Now also when Rahu is in Capricorn, then such a person will can be very, very bold and courageous also, because Mars exalts in Capricorn. Okay, they can be very courageous. They will not be afraid of taking risks when they want to fulfill their obsession or sexual desire. They may take risks also. Okay, and they may go out of their way. They may do something totally unbelievable just to fulfill their own desires. It's possible. Okay, when Rahu is in Capricorn, they may also Capricorn is that ultimate sign, is a sign of control, authority, dominance. So they totally want to be somebody who is in control and who has power over their partner, and their partner, they want to compel their partner to be totally submissive to them. This will happen. So they will like to be with a partner who is submissive. who is submissive, who is willing to appreciate, admire them, appreciate them, who's willing to praise, eulogize them, who's willing to accept their dominance. So they will try to be with such a partner, okay, because they want to satisfy their ego, and they want to prove that they are superior to their partner. They want to prove that, and they want to dominate their partner in the relationship. Okay, so it's all about a power struggle or power game, actually. Okay, so they always want to be the dictator, they always want to be in control of the whole situation, and they want to dominate their partner when it comes to love making, just to satisfy their own ego. This is also true for Rahu in Capricorn, and they can be very methodical also in their approach, very methodical. They will be very manipulative. Okay, so they are very methodical. They could be very calm and about the whole thing, and very grounded, very calm. They can appear to be very calm because earth sign, yes, and but they will manipulate everything just to exert their control, just to establish their dominance over the partner, and that gives them pleasure, that gives them real pleasure in love making. Now let's move on to Rahu in Aquarius. If you have this placement of Rahu in Aquarius, as I mentioned in the introduction, Rahu should be in connection with Sun and Venus, or Mars and Venus, or Jupiter and Venus. You may have any of these combinations, and it should be aspected by Moon. Then what will happen? Moon or Ascendant Lord. Then somebody could be a narcissist. Again, there are certain exceptions which I mentioned in the introduction. Go through them. So more or less, if you have this combination, if a person has, they can be a narcissist. With Rahu in Aquarius, Aquarius is the ultimate sign of desires. When the desire reaches your peak, actually, when the desires are at their peak, actually. So what will happen now? Such a person will have insatiable desires, even sexual desires. They may be into illicit relationship with people in their social circle. They may have secret connections, secret intimate relationships with people who belong to their social circle. It could be some friend, it could be friends with benefits, it could be anybody in their social circle with whom they deal, and they could have a secretive relationship with them. They could also, Rahu in Aquarius, such a narcissist with this position, with placement of Rahu in Aquarius, can also be into multiple sexual relationships. It's possible. Now they may also have some sort of secretive relationship with, as I told you, with people who kind of, who are there in their social circle, and even you can say even social media circle also. Okay, so that is also possible. Social network, whoever is there. Now such people will want to gain from their love making experience. They're so obsessed about their own gains. They're so obsessed about the fulfillment of their own desires, wishes and fantasies. They want their fantasies to be fulfilled. Okay, they're not bothered about the desires of their partner. A narcissistic person never is bothered about how the partner feels or thinks. They don't have empathy actually for the partner. They are bothered only about their own satisfaction. All right, so, and the partner is used just as a tool to satisfy their sexual desires and obsessions. All right, so yeah, I mean, Rahu in Aquarius, definitely, and it is an air sign, so they are very intelligent, very manipulative. the partner will not come to know, what actually they're up to. I mean, they can easily manipulate their partner. When you have Rahu in Aquarius, such a person can easily be so clever. They can manipulate everything so that everything works according to their own wishes. Okay, everything works to fulfill their desires. All right, this is possible with Rahu in Aquarius. Now they are so obsessed about what they're going to gain from the relationship. Their focus is only on their materialistic desires, on their on the fulfillment of their desire to gain pleasure. That's it. All right, so yeah, this is possible. Now it is an air sign, and this is again a sign which is connected to research as well. So even Rahu in Aquarius, with this position also, a narcissist may be very experimental. They could have a tendency to get experimental in love making. It's possible. All right, now let's move on to Rahu in and Rahu in Aquarius. Such people, they may also have unrealistic, they may set at times unrealistic targets for themselves. Okay, because they are so ambitious. Your ambition reaches its peak when you have Rahu in Aquarius. So they could set unrealistic targets and goals, that I have to achieve this goal. I want to kind of from this love making experience, I have to achieve this goal, that goal. So they could be very demanding then. The partner may not actually be able to fulfill their never-ending desires. So this is possible, because they will have, at times they could have even unrealistic desires and goals, and they would want their partner to fulfill those as well, which could not be, which could be not possible. I mean, they may not be even humanly possible for the partner to fulfill such desires, and they could have such desires. It's possible. So so in extreme cases, this is also possible, that they can have endless desires which cannot be satiated in any way by their partner, and so they keep looking for looking for sex. They keep looking for partners, romantic partners, and they somehow remain unsatisfied. So that is why they can have multiple partners. Now let's move on to the last placement, when Rahu is in Pisces. When Rahu is in Pisces, then what can happen? Such a person may tend to idealize things about love making. They may have certain ideal conception about love making, and they are so obsessed with their ideal conception of love making that they will never be now satisfied with their partner, whoever they might be. So they will, because they have that ideal notion of love making, so they are not happy with the partner. That is possible, never satisfied. Rahu in Pisces, please go to the introduction. If Rahu has some connection either with Sun and Venus, or Mars and Venus, or Jupiter and Venus, and any of these combinations the person might have, but any of these combinations, but the combination should have some connection with the moon especially, or ascendant lord. Then the person could be a narcissist with Rahu in Pisces. So such a person, they could also imagine things. They could live in their own world of imagination regarding their obsessions. They could, their imagination and creativity could lead them to be obsessed about certain things which are even not possible in reality when you have Rahu in Pisces, because they keep imagining that, okay, I could have this sort of a partner, but that partner is totally imaginary, not a real person, okay, not a flesh and blood human being, somebody who's imaginary. So they could even, make love to that imaginary partner. And when they are actually making love to their real life partner, they could be left totally unsatisfied. They could be dissatisfied, because that real life partner can nowhere, can in no way match that standard, or match the standards of that imaginary partner, that idealistic partner, okay, with whom they actually want to make love. This can happen when Rahu is in Pisces. So they're never satisfied. Okay, Pisces water sign. Again, they can be obsessed with being creative and experimental in love making. Okay, that is also possible. They can be very creative, very experimental. They want that whole love making process to transform them. Okay, they want that love making experience to have that power to transform them into a different person, or to transport them into a different realm. So that sort of an experience they are looking for. Okay, an experience which can transport them to a different realm altogether. So that may not be possible for their partner to do. So naturally, so they are not going to be satisfied with their partner actually when we have Rahu in Pisces. Alright, so they could be very endlessly creative, experimental. They would just crave to be transported to some other world through love making. So all these things can happen when you have Rahu in Pisces. Rahu in Pisces, you may fall in love with somebody who belongs to a foreign culture. You may be attracted to foreign people, foreigners who belong to a different culture, different religion, different language community, different geographical region. So anything foreign can attract you like anything. So you may feel that, okay, as whatever is foreign, I'm drawn towards that. Maybe if I would have that opportunity to make love to that person who is totally foreign in origin and culture, then only maybe I would feel satisfied. So they might also have such a feeling. When Rahu is in Pisces, then also it's possible that they are so obsessed with somebody who is far away from them. They want to make love to somebody who is far away, who lives in a foreign land, who belongs to a foreign culture, somebody who exists in their imagination altogether, who's not existent in reality. Okay, so that is also possible. All right. They could even be distanced, and they could be obsessed with somebody with whom they have a long distance relationship. That is also possible. They could have a secretive relationship with somebody who lives far away. So they could be into a secretive long distance relationship when someone has Rahu in Pisces. And if they're a narcissist, if they have all those planetary combinations, if Rahu is in combination with certain planets and they're actually and they somehow have narcissistic tendencies, then these things are possible. Now, all these placements of Rahu from Aries to Pisces, which I mentioned, you may also, if you have Rahu in all these signs and these planets which I mentioned in the introduction, if they're also connected, so your desire, even sexual desire, also may have such an orientation. But there's a difference. You may not be a narcissist, okay? So you may not be, it's not necessary that you will be a narcissist if you have these tendencies, okay? So but yeah, you may experience such inclinations, such desires, such tendencies which I've mentioned, all right? So one becomes a narcissist when, when, as I said, Rahu should be in certain nakshatras, and the nakshatra lord also is not so well placed in the chart. All right, you have nothing to do with technology, research, investigation, in-depth study, occult or spiritual practices. You have nothing to do with any of that. Okay, you have nothing to do with foreign land. So if any of these conditions are being fulfilled, then definitely you will not be a narcissist. Okay, so you will experience, but nevertheless these tendencies or desires or your results, whatever I discussed, so you may experience these results also, but they will be in a, they could just be there, and you may have, you know, those desires are totally, they could be very natural, they could come to you very naturally, and you will not be overpowered by them. You're not going to be obsessed by those desires. But yeah, you could have such desires and inclinations, such certain tendencies which I discussed, but only because you have certain tendencies, you know, that doesn't make you a narcissist. So you will become a narcissist when Rahu is in a certain nakshatra and that nakshatra lord is not well placed, again afflicted in the chart. Okay, and Rahu has some connection, as I told you in the introduction, with either Mars and Venus or Sun and Venus or Jupiter and Venus, and any of these combinations is being aspected by Moon. If ascendant or ascendant lord is involved, then the results, the person can be truly a narcissist. It will be very obvious in their personality. And also you know, if they're not into all the exceptions which I've mentioned, so they're not into research, not into occult or spiritual practices, then there is a possibility that they could have narcissistic tendencies. Now, if as I mentioned in the introduction, if these combinations, any of these combinations with Rahu, if they are linked only to the Moon, then those tendencies may somehow lie dormant within them. But if they are also connected with the ascendant or ascendant lord, then definitely these narcissistic traits will characterize their personality as well. Alright friends, let me know what you think in the comment box. Do subscribe, like, share, and also if you want personal consultation, details are there in the video description. You can text or WhatsApp me. Okay, before I wind up the video, friends, I would just give you a gentle reminder. Planet Rahu is the planet of desires. Alright, so in this life, when you have Rahu in a certain position, Rahu's position will tell you what desires you really have to fulfill in this lifetime. Okay, as Rahu stands for your unfinished desire, so which you have to finish, or you want to fulfill those desires in this lifetime. Alright, so in order to be able to attain wish fulfillment, you need the blessings of the divine. Always remember that. Alright, so do take care of your elders, your parents, be kind to the needy, to the downtrodden, and be compassionate to all animals, birds, creatures. Thank you so much.